What a glorious collection I've got here. Really is. I've got some stuff. Some units I like to use, and some I keep mostly for nostalgia. There's some that are a bit unusual, and some that are pretty damn amazing. Uh, you know, some that just look cool. Some that have really good function to them, and they really fit my particular playstyle. Regardless of what unit you have, it all had to start somewhere. You had to start somewhere. When you were scrub, when you were noob, you had barely been playing for an hour. You're still trying to figure out the difference between a capsule machine, a custom capsule machine, an item capsule machine, and Gashapon. At that stage. And you're like, you see everybody running around with S ranks. What are these S rank things? Well, by the way, do you know there's this thing called quests? Really? Well, what are quests? Well, quests get you free stuff. Now, granted, I've been playing for 3.5 years, so most of these I've taken care of a good portion of these. Actually, I've taken care of most of these. But these are things and stuff and whatever. But here we go. There's the actual list of stuff I've done. Okay, yay, all those quests and hidden. Well, there's one of them hidden in here somewhere are what we call the poverty tier S ranks. These are the units that, when you're first starting, you don't have to worry about going to the store and purchasing a blueprint. Hell, you don't even know what a blueprint is. You're still wondering how to upgrade an S rank because you see a really cool unit you want to get. But how do you get to that point? Where do you start? Well, you go to the poverty tier S ranks. And by poverty tier, we mean you can get them free very easily from Quest. You've got Freedom Gundam, Justice Gundam, which is probably the hardest of the three to get. I mean, to be fair, you actually have to jump through quite a few hoops. And back here is the Providence Gundam. Those three Gundams are the poverty tier S ranks. Now, I will not be including Destiny Gundam in this. While yes, you can get a free Destiny Gundam from scratch, they will give you an Impulse Gundam, they will give you a Force Impulse Gundam, and then they will get you the Destiny and all the blueprints and units in between. You can get a Destiny Gundam for free, but I wouldn't really call it poverty tier because you actually do you do have to rank up a little bit, and by the time you do, you've already gotten the other ones. And B, this one is distinctive enough, in my opinion. Destiny Gundam is distinctive enough to stand by itself, and you actually see people regularly use it after they've burned through their earliest unit and they've found their swing or whatever it is, however you want to put it. But nobody talks about the poverty tier S ranks. Freedom, by far the most frequent one you're going to see. By far the most frequent one you'll see. You might see a Justice Gundam. The problem is you have to go through that advanced combat tutorial where they basically make you play against types. So you're using a long-range sniper weapon to take down units that are trying to melee you. You're forced to use a melee unit to confront units that are attacking you at range. You have to try and maneuver through buildings. There's the one where you're both shooting and you're both, doing the same amount of damage to each other. There's to be fair, the advanced combat tutorial, it takes everybody a couple of tries, and it's not very clear what you're supposed to do because you're playing against type. Why they do that, I don't know, because the whole point of having multiple weapons. Okay, anyways. The intermediate combat tutorial, you're basically learning how to use all the weapons in the game. There's a couple they don't go over, like they don't go over shotguns, they don't go over scattering beam guns. There's a couple. They're a little more on the specialty. They don't go over the grabby claw like there is on the Perfect Strike or like there is on the Noisy Old Missile Launcher. They don't go over the grabby claws. Some of those you have to kind of figure out on your own. They don't cover scissor bits. They don't do that. They don't cover remote weapons. So. But anyways, the intermediate combat tutorial is not too bad. I think the hardest part is trying to shoot down the all those Zakus in the last section. It's like, wait a minute, I'm being attacked, but I also have them flying past me. Which one am I supposed to go? Oh my god, I just lost. What happened? But yeah, so I mean, Justice Gundam can be a pain in the ass. Providence Gundam, you're more likely to see Providence Gundams running around as well. Freedom and Providence, you'll see those too. And it's not because of, who piloted which ones or what. But again, Freedom Gundam by far, and ironically, it's Freedom Gundam, the one that's piloted by Kira Jesus Yamato. So, people are just kind of, why Freedom? But you never talk about them. They're just kind of the poverty tier units. And by rights, I shouldn't have to do a video review because everybody can get their hands on one automatically. I do these reviews to show off units that the S ranks where you have to commit a lot of resources, you have to commit a lot of time and points in order to and grinding, let's be honest, in order to get these S ranks. And in lieu of the fact that OG Planet, for whatever reason, is not giving us those S rank rentals anymore, it actually gave me the opportunity to kind of fill in their shoes. If you can't play with them, let me show you how they work, and then you can kind of base your judgment on that. So, if it wasn't for the fact that those samplers aren't around anymore, I wouldn't be doing those reviews anymore. OGP, you might want to get on that, and to be fair, I actually do like those. So, why should I cover the poverty tier S ranks? Because, you don't need to invest to get them. You just kind of do one or two missions or a tutorial or whatever, and that's it. Well, it's still an S rank, gosh darn it. I should... And you can actually buy Justice Gundam, you can buy Providence, you can buy Freedom. You actually can build them. Now, there's no occasion where it's sacrificed. All the S ranks that they're used in, you just keep those S ranks, whatever. They're all key units in what they're used in. But really, I just feel like I need to cover them anyways, just to cover my bases and feel satisfied. I've actually been bouncing this idea around for several months now, and Okami, there's just kind of, Ava, you don't need to do it. Don't waste your time. Everybody gets one. It's free. Basically, the stuff I just told you. But it's bugging me, and I think until I go over it, it's going to keep bugging me. So, here it is. 3 reviews of the poverty tier S ranks. So, we're going to start off with the one that everybody else started with, the Freedom Gundam. So, starting out for the melee, which, by the way, is dual wielding, so there's none of that MCA, you swing from left and right bullcrap. 5 hits on a scissors, by the way, and look how much damage that is on C-ranks, on a scissors, which is really unusual. And it's a nice fast swing too. So you already know your attack speed and agility are way up there. $12, $13, $14, $15, $16, $17, $18 shots. And it reloads actually faster than your average beam rifle. So you've got 18 shots before you run out of ammo. That's actually very unusual for a beam rifle to reload that quickly and to have that much ammo. Poverty tier it may be, but gosh darn, it's killing C ranks in 8 shots, which is exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, enough with the spamming. Let's just kill this guy and get over with. Oops. Next up, we have the railguns, and by the way, they won't be able to tell the difference between the 2 weapons you're using right there. So, 4 shots, and fortunately, you're not stationary fire, but it is a double shot. So, and it does certainly have splash damage on it. Has a really good reload. It also has a good firing rate. Let me get two rounds or more in here. That's pretty darn fast, considering how far out they go. Actually, how far do I don't remember. Okay. By the way, that's a really wide reach on that melee. I think these are beyond visual. Little, yeah, a little bit beyond visual range. 3, 4, 5. In fact, if I remember correctly, the rail cannons, which are on the hips, by the way, used to be only 3 shots. But they updated it to 5. So, yes. To be fair, that spec is a little bit badass. Mobility time, woo! S-rank paper, I'm sorry, S-rank scissors. And, standard affair, if anything. I think it comes up a little bit short. I think maybe it should go out to about there, ideally. But, whatever. Now, I don't really need... I've been doing a lot of video reviews lately where I've had a punching bag. I don't really need a punching bag to point out the fact that this thing has infinite horizontal boosting when it reaches 50% HP. Now, it's not Neutron Jammer Canceller EX where you get radar and I think it's increased boosting speed, something like that. But the point is, you have infinite horizontal boosting, and one of the things, as long as you're boosting side to side or front and backwards, you'll just boost forever. Where you won't boost forever is if you do a dash jump, because then you will consume a booster going upwards, and you can only jump twice. Let's see what else. Yeah, that's kind of it. So this thing has incredibly fast and damaging melee for an S-rank scissors. I mean, honestly, I think it'd be like I might be able to do a combo with my Destiny Gundam, a full, melee combo or whatever it is, and I'll do that amount of damage. You've got a lot of ammo on this thing. Has a good attack speed on it too. Has good reload. It has fair reload. Believe it or not, Freedom Gundam has really good reload rates on here. You got 4 shots of this. It used to be 3 previously, or did I say that in a previous take? I can't remember. Reload rate, blah blah blah, whatever. Basically, you use this to attack people who are starting to approach you, or as a distraction. If the enemy is engaging an ally, you can use this and you can contribute, a little bit of damage to the cause. Maybe get some decent chaos in here. But the beam rifle, honestly, I think the only thing I really got a problem with is maybe boosting speed, and that's kind of it. That's really all of the. There isn't really anything negative about this thing, other than the fact that maybe it's not a multi-mode unit. Like there's machine cannons in the shoulders there of the torso. There's Vulcan guns in the forehead. There's beam cannons located inside the wings. You can see them on the top of the wings there, the leading edge of the wings there. So there are other weapons that that the Freedom doesn't use, but really what you've got here is not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination, besides the fact that it has only 3 weapons as a bonus. You're not really going to find any big weaknesses with Freedom Gundam. You're not. Unless you're worried about boosting speed or maybe HP and defense. Beyond those, agility is really good. Damage is, I'll say, fair, average, ordinary. Can I say boring or bad? Not necessarily, no. If anything, some may or will be disappointed by the fact that it's only a single mode S rank. As I said in another review, some people actually don't use S ranks. That's why you see a lot of ABC rooms. It's not just because S rank's overpowered. There is the overpoweredness of an S rank, although in recent years that's actually changed rather dramatically, I'll just say. The simplicity of it may be a turnoff to some, but it's also an advantage to others. I've heard people, like I said, I've gone through this before. I've heard some people say they don't play with S-ranks because they're too complicated. It's not that they have too many good weapons, it's that they've got too many options. They want to use this weapon at this time, but they have to switch to the other mode, and oh, by the way, they have remote weapons that are currently out there. They have to wait for them to come back, or, pick your poison on it. Freedom Gundam just kind of simplifies that. Does it have the types of weapons on it that I would like? Not necessarily. I would have preferred the beam cannons on the wings. Maybe the Vulcan, not the Vulcan guns. I don't want those things. The machine cannons on the shoulders. I would like to have gotten those things evolved. But what is here is by no means bad. at all. So really, this is one of those units that's like well-rounded, generic one-size-fits-all. Can I say jack of all trades? Arguably, yes, it is. Not just because it's a mid-range combat unit, because it's got really good melee. It's a 5-swing on a scissors, and that's always good. And on top of that, it's a 5-swing with damage to rival an S-rank rock. So you've got, Kira Yamato obviously has to be better than everybody around him, so that's why mid-range combat unit has really amazing melee. And the beam rifle, damage is okay, whatever. And rail cannons, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, honestly. I probably will go with an attack type, just because, like, this hits like a truck, absolutely, and it's nice and fast, and the recovery and the agility and blah, 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 things like that. These things, they're okay, they're average. This is the standard for, a standard S-rank beam rifle is this right here. Standard bazooka is right here. And by the way, it's a double shot. You've got 2 projectiles firing at the same time. So if it's standard, there's no reason you can't do that, or do a balance build of some kind, and, do this and do that and blah, 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 whatever it is. I don't really have any strong recommendations. This is one of those rare occasions where an S-rank that I have doesn't need to be fixed. Doesn't have anything that really sticks out like a sore thumb. So at this point, you can kind of pick. Ava, you always do recommendations. What's your recommendation? All right, if you insist. Make it last as long as it can. Increase the damage. Booster reduction. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I've had this for 3.5 years, and I never went beyond this. This, by the way, yes, this is my original Freedom Gundam. I think the combination in here only happened because they reset many of the quests, and so, I got a spare Freedom that way. I've never had to build one, so, whatever. Because, all the units that this is used in, it's key unit. You never lose an S rank to. Okay. Anyways, we're going to build what I do. The HP up is your choice. The defense up is your choice. Maybe mobility and that. Maybe booster speed. Maybe I could do a mobility build. So let's see. Get rid of these. This. And then maybe attack up. Or something else that crossed my mind. Maybe you could do attack speed and cooldown on the bazookas, which is also, it would also apply to the beam rifle. Maybe you could do bullet speed, I suppose. So really, I wouldn't say you don't have to do a heavy defensive build. This is actually a case where you don't have to worry about that because it's so average and ordinary. But you're not going to lose anything by getting one. I still pull this unit out once in a while and play with it. Now, granted, it's usually like once every 5 or 6 months I'll pull it out, but when I do, it's still really satisfying unit to have around. It's still good. I'm not bored with it. My dislike of Dumbfire, okay, that's one reason not to like it, but that's one reason not to like it overall, and I can live with that. This also is the Dumbfire on here is very average and ordinary, so I should be offended by it. I don't like Dumbfire, but I'm not offended by what's here. Because it has a good enough reload. You got a lot of ammo here that just kind of cover it, so this almost seems redundant. Maybe they should have done beam rifle, beam machine gun, or maybe they could have done beam rifle, long range beam cannons. Fill that gap somehow, and you would have heard no complaints from me whatsoever. That's my only complaint, and that again is due to personal playstyle. So whatever. Phase shift armor. Considering how many beams are in the S-rank units, at this point, you start kind of not worrying about bullets. Missiles, yeah. Dumbfire, not as much as you do with the ABC ranks. But when you get into the S ranks, you have to worry more about beams. So this may be a little, it's a little iffy, but, it helps, when you need it. It's great for going up against heavy arms custom, so, why not? Or, what's another good one? Dumbfire. Z2, Zeta 2. There's another one for you. Infinite booster capacity of 50% or below. Yay. You boost horizontally forever. It's great. It's amazing. Absolutely worth it. Stickers. Both shoulders, and I think the third one's on the shield. Come on. Nope, it's on the back of the wing there. Since it doesn't transform, that is it. I can't remember that I think I painted this up when I got my Freedom Meteor, the SS Rank Freedom Meteor, so, I think that was a blueprint. I can't remember how I got that. So it always looked like, the normal, Freedom Gundam until I got that one, so, or is it a case of, like, I doctored this up first, and then I painted my Freedom Meteor to match? I think that's what it was, now that I think about it. It's a little difficult to decide where the white is and where the black goes, and I bounced around with a couple different variations. I don't think I could justify doing prototype color on here, but I'll do it just because Freedom Gundam is again, that's almost identical, but a Freedom Gundam is definitely one of those units where it doesn't really matter what you put on it, it's always going to look good. So again, that's a paint set that I really like. I've never used one, but I like that paint set. That's the prep work for my Ava Unit 4 coloring. Oh, look, the phase shift armor's turned off. Oh no, he's completely defenseless. Yeah. Boring, average, ordinary, nothing inherently wrong with it. You can do whatever the crap you want to with it. The response times on it are also great, agility and attack speed, cooldown, things like that. No problems there either. And, poverty tier, so you're not going to have to commit anything unless you want to make another one, unless you want to combine it. Then you can commit to, making the blueprints or whatever it is. And so that is the first of the poverty tier S ranks. Up next, unit way in the back of my hangar that I have not used for quite some time. By no means bad either. Yeah, I know it has insufficient energy. I want to recharge and, 1080. Alright. Next up, Providence Gundam. This is Ava Unit 4A saying thanks for tuning in.